Hey there folks, Scottsdale Travel Chick Sidekick here again to present our weekend travel guide for Panama City, Panama. In this video, we'll tell you all about the cool things you'll want to see and do on a 2 or 3 day visit. Plus, we'll throw in a few fun facts along the way. First up, just a few interesting points on Panama itself. Panama is a narrow Central American country lying between Costa Rica to the north and Colombia to the south. It's skinny, and you can drive the approximate 50 miles between the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean in less than 2 hours. Almost everyone knows Panama for the Panama Canal, but did you also know it has more rainforests and is more biodiverse than Costa Rica? The local currency in Panama is the US dollar, and there's a heavy US influence in Panama City due to the long history with the Panama Canal. The airport is just south of the city and relatively close. Uber is available in the Panama City area, and it's about a 20-minute taxi ride and a fare of $20 to $30 to downtown, depending on the traffic. In terms of where to stay, there are basically 2 main areas. One is around the waterfront promenade in the central business district, where the larger hotel chains are located, like the Sheraton, Hilton, Intercontinental, and others. The second area for tourist-grade hotels is Casco Viejo, which is the Old Town area, where a number of smaller boutique-style hotels are located. Panama is a good walking city, and we felt safe walking around during the day, but you do have to be careful where you're at, as the slums are sometimes right next to the more touristy areas. So be careful, and certain places are certainly a no-go at night.
Place you can see the slums next to the beautiful building.
Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to the top things you'll want to see and do on your trip to Panama City. As we do with most of our travel guides, we'll group everything into 3 primary sections: parks and paths, primary attractions, and dining and nightlife. First up, parks and paths. We'll cover 5 options in this section: Cinta Costera, Amador Causeway, Central Avenue, the Metropolitan Nature Park, and Ancon Hill. Cinta Costera is a beautiful 3-mile waterfront promenade along the central part of the city. It's a great place to get out and walk or bike and to see the city in the bayfront. Pro tip, Sunday is the best time to visit, as the adjacent road, Avenue Balboa, is closed to cars until noon. Along the Cinta Costera you can see the Panama tourist sign. I guess this is a must if you're into the Instagram and selfie craze. Street vendors. All along the walk are various street vendors selling small eats and trinkets, as well as ice cream and desserts. And there's the fish market. It's at the western end of the Cinta Costera and is a large open market with many stalls all grouped together, selling fresh fish meals along with other tasty treats. It's a popular tourist spot. And that's the fish market right over there. We're going to walk that way. So we're walking along now. We're going to go into the fish market. What kind of fish do you want? We got sea bass for $8. French fries, $2.50. Snapper. Lobster. You can see here the travel chick had lots of choices, but she's kind of picky. You like turning people down, babe?
No. They all have the same menu.
Next up is Amador Causeway. It's about a 4-mile causeway connecting 3 islands to the mainland, and it's another popular place to get out and walk and ride bikes. Fun fact, these islands were built up from the waste during the construction of the Panama Canal. Along the causeway, there are a number of unique attractions to see. Biomuseo is one, It's a biodiversity museum which was designed by Frank Gehry. Punta Culebra Nature Center is a Smithsonian Tropical Research Center offering a mix of marine and amphibian exhibits, walking trails, and hand-on science activities. Finally, at the end of the causeway is another Panama sign, a marina with fishing excursions and tours to nearby islands, and a number of dining options to choose from. Central Avenue is another outdoor option to consider. It's kind of an off-the-beaten-path gem. It's a pedestrian-only shopping street that in years past used to be the hub of commercial activity in Panama City. Today it's a little more rundown, but it's a great shopping street to get a real feel for much of what Panama City is like, but in an area which is safe for tourists to walk around. Metropolitan National Park is a 570-acre rainforest only 10 minutes from downtown. There's great hiking trails, great views, and a lot of opportunity for wildlife sightings. In fact, there are over 220 species of birds, along with numerous monkeys, sloths, and lizards to be seen. Mi Pueblito and Ancon Hill are another option. It's a 30-minute walk to the top of the hill for great views back out over the city. And Mi Pueblito is also at the bottom where you can experience local Panamanian culture and artists. Now, let's talk about the primary attractions to see around Panama City. There are really only 3 or 4 big things to do, but there's a lot of variety on how you do them and what you actually see. First up, the Panama Canal. I guess I have to start off with the number 1 attraction in all of Panama. There are basically 3 main areas you can visit. One option is the western end of the canal, where the Miraflores Locks and Visitor Center is located. It's the closest option to Panama City. Here you can watch the ships pass through the locks from an observation platform, you can enjoy an informative film, and you can visit a large museum full of history on the canal. Okay, this is facing the Pacific, and this is the Miraflores Lock, running from west to east. And then for the Supermax, there's actually up above this lock, you can see that run, and there's a set of locks out there, which is now where the Supermax boats go through. And for them, it's only 2 locks to cross from the Atlantic to the Pacific or vice versa. In the older boats, there's 3 locks. Gatun Lake and Gamboa Rainforest area are around the center of the canal. Here you can take a boat out on Gatun Lake and get right up next to some of the passing cargo ships. And you can also visit Monkey Island, where you can experience monkeys up close and personal. And when I say up close and personal, here's what I mean. He didn't like that, no. Oh, he wants that side against the peanuts, yeah.
Go fight.
He definitely wants the peanuts. Yeah. Hope he doesn't poop.
Is he sitting on my head?
Yes, he is. In this area is also the Gamboa Rainforest Resort, where you can do zip lining or take an aerial tram ride through the rainforest, and you can also visit a butterfly sanctuary, a sloth sanctuary, and have a nice meal overlooking the nearby hills and water. Finally, you can make the farthest trip to the eastern end of the canal to see the Agua Clara Locks and Visitor Center, along with Fort San Lorenzo, which is also nearby. Fort Lorenzo was used to protect the Atlantic terminus of Spain's Las Cruces Trail, a major gold transportation route for the Spanish Empire. It's possible to do each of these things on your own by taxi or rental car, and we generally do like to do things on our own. But in this case, I think it's best to hire a guide who can get you around easily and give you more context to everything you're seeing. And it's not so expensive to do it this way in Panama. Our pro tip for this is that we recommend using Panama Tours. It's a local company owned by two guys who have a great TripAdvisor rating. Their private tours are reasonably priced for about the same rates as taking a group tour. Marvin was our guide. He provided good information on local customs and detailed background info on all the areas we visited. And he took his time.
French people realize how important Panama is thanks to this arch. It's the flat arch. In Spanish, it's el arco chato. Chato means something flat, like this or like this.
Just a quick shout out here that if you're enjoying this video, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel so you can receive more fun, informative travel videos just like this one. Okay, you've done your Panama Canal tour, now what? Well, Panama City has a few more things to offer. First up, and probably the biggest thing next to the canal, is Casco Viejo, or the Old Town. It's a small area of about 15 or so streets, but with a lot of cool Spanish colonial houses to check out, along with a multitude of small shops, galleries, and museums. There's also a lot of restaurants and bars you can explore after hours. Not to be confused with Casco Viejo, Panama Viejo is a UNESCO World Heritage Site of the first European settlement on the New World's Pacific coast. It was founded way back in 1518 with only 100 settlers. That village prospered as a Spanish port while conquistadors plundered the New World and eventually grew to over 10,000 people by the time England's Captain Morgan sacked and burned it in 1671. It never recovered after that. Finally, there are a number of nearby islands you can explore as a day trip or short overnight. There are some really beautiful islands in Panama, like the San Blas Islands and others further away, but unfortunately these are not so easy to get to from Panama City and require either a short flight or a very long bus plus boat ride. However, fear not, because there are still a couple of options close enough for an easy day trip. Isla Toboga, or Island of Flowers, is a short $12 20-minute boat ride away, where you can visit a quaint little village, do some hiking, or just aim for some relaxation and beach time. Check out Viator for many day trip options. Contadora Island is the first island in the Pearl Archipelago and is the nicest overall in terms of accommodations and things to do. It's about a 90-minute boat ride or a 45-minute plane ride. Pro tip: if you like the Survivor show, you might want to check this island out. 3 seasons were filmed here. Finally, how about the dining and nightlife options in Panama City? Well, it's definitely not party central like some towns in Mexico or the Caribbean, but there are a couple of decent options for a night out. First up is Calle de Uruguay. It's the primary nightlife area in the city, and it covers a few streets behind the waterfront hotel area. It's basically a neighborhood filled with bars, restaurants, and discos for wealthy Panamanians and foreigners. Unfortunately, when we were there during COVID, it looked pretty much closed and deserted. Old Town Casco Viejo area is another good option. As I mentioned previously, Casco Viejo is a pretty happening place at night with a number of nice restaurants, outdoor dining areas, and even some cool rooftop bars to consider. We ate at this place on the main square. You can sit inside or out on the square, and the food was delicious. Just check out these fancy empanadas, which we couldn't get enough of. Lastly, don't overlook the casinos. They tend to be inside some of the nicer hotels, but they are often some of the most happening places in the city. Well, there you have it, our visitor guide to Panama City, Panama. We hope you enjoyed. Please let us know what you think in the comments section below, and please consider following us for more informative travel videos just like this one. Until next time, see you later.